Behind the gadgets and gizmos on display at Mobile World Congress here in Barcelona, digital access is about far more than cables and computers. It's about people and their potential, because in today's world, digitalization and the skills that it demands determines opportunity, transforming lives and communities and economies more widely. That belief inspired Olivier Vanden Eynde to found Close the Gap, a social enterprise providing affordable IT solutions to schools, hospitals and communities across more than 50 developing countries and reaching over 6 million people. At its core is a philosophy that Olivier captures in a single Bantu word, Ubuntu, the belief that digital inclusion is a shared responsibility.
I was very, very grateful that Archbishop Desmond Tutu was basically for over 15 years a member of the board of Close the Gap. And Ubuntu is kind of one of the words that he, together with Nelson Mandela, invented in South Africa. You can't really translate it. There is no translation, but it is indeed, I am because of you. So it's a state of living, and it's basically saying that regardless how successful or how important your work, your personal background or your ambitions are, they are worthless if you don't do it with and for other people. And I think that encapsulates really also what Close the Gap is all about and why we started 2 decades ago. We said technology can actually be that connector and help people that are left behind through technology to be also part of this Ubuntu mindset.
So is that shared humanity at the core that's what about?
Yes, that's probably the closest English translation that you can bring to Ubuntu.
So tell us a bit about the work that Close the Gap does then with Huawei on the whole Digitruck project and what difference you feel that's making.
Yeah, so the Digitrucks was a kind of invention, if I can call it like this, of Close the Gap together with Huawei, where we wanted to really reach out with solutions and digital training, inclusion to areas and to people that would otherwise not be able to be part of that ecosystem. So it's really about going to stakeholders that are technically or geographically left behind because they live on borders of civil society, or they live in war zones, in moving challenges in terms of drought, in terms of insecurity. And the Digitruck came out of the necessity to also include some of those very important stakeholders in our work. And Huawei kind of boosted it by saying that, they wanted us to roll out in almost 10 different African countries. And we are building them by African Kenyans in Kenya. And they are being rolled out through the port of Mombasa or through the roads infrastructure to all those other countries in the continent.
And what difference, what impact is it having, do you think? And also, it's one project. What more needs to be done to really close that gap, that digital skills gap?
The beauty of the Digitruck is that basically it's a classroom on wheels. So anything you would be able to do in a connected environment, you can do it there, regardless of the location, if you can drive to it. What on top comes as a very nice attribute is that obviously it creates quite a bit of visibility. Definitely if you go to rural areas, people will suddenly see like a digital classroom on wheels with solar panels on the roof, with data communication, with security, with Wi-Fi hotspots at the outside and lights in the evening.
What a dramatic presence, isn't it?
Yeah. So it also generates already a big attraction and it becomes the talk of the town, which also helps us to create the narrative and the awareness of why this unit is there. And that's, I think, where the Digitruck makes the huge difference. It's basically getting those most vulnerable stakeholders in the areas where we work with those mobile units to be part of a potential solution for dignified jobs. That's, I think, what for me is the essence. It's dignified jobs that those Digitruck programs are bringing to people in very complex environments.
It is a complex environment, but it's also a complex era that we're in now in terms of technologically. It's constantly advancing, constantly adapting. How do you respond to that? How do you make sure you're updating your own courses on the Digitruck to make sure you're meeting the current needs each time?
I think there the key is sustainable, innovative, and well-balanced partnerships. So we don't do that ourselves. We kind of make sure the Digitruck is operational, is on site where it has to be. But then it's the local partner that has the local customized content, that knows the stakeholders and let's say the beneficiaries or the project stakeholder partners. And they basically are best fit to assure that the curriculum is constantly evolving. That is, I think, the beauty of our projects. It's a kind of a one-size-fits-all, but it's not one partner that brings all of it. It's all the different partners together. There is regulators involved and public stakeholders, there is private stakeholders, there is NGOs, there is community-based organizations, and all of them make a cocktail, I would say, of something which really is fit for purpose and which hits the road.
5 years from now, what will you deem a great success?
People need something tangible that can be used in a job creation discussion, something to put online if they finally have an online presence on a job platform, for instance. So those moments when I see those learners or previous learners that suddenly become young professionals, those are, I think, already big milestones, because you see them shining and then you say, wow, this Digitruck has not just done blah, blah, blah and lots of talking, but it has really delivered what it's all about. If we look at 5 years of time, I think what I really hope we can establish also with Huawei is that we can still multiplicate and duplicate those projects to every African country on the continent. And next to that, I think also we should look at the sustainability of those trucks, that we can basically find a model that we can constantly, also technologically wise, improve them, renovate them, upgrade them, because the essence of the truck is a lifelong ability. It's not, I mean, if you change the tires of the truck, if from time to time you put some new painting on it, it is literally never coming to an end of the story. It will never become obsolete if you maintain it well. And that's really what I hope in 5 years of time, that those projects will have proven to be self-sustainable, that they will be constantly fit for purpose and renovated. And that in the unlikely event that some of them would really be so old that they need to be renovated, that there will be a recycling program about it.
Years ahead of real tangible impact. Olivier, thanks very much.
Thank you.